Yes, yes. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. Good morning, y'all. Yes, yes, yes. Today, we're just kind of talking about cultural reconciliation. There's so much happening in this country as a result of the new administration. People are scrambling around. It's getting to the degree where I don't care what your position is or what side of the aisle you support. It's definitely concerning to the masses of the people. You're starting to see voices on broadcast media um, being extinguished or muted, if you will. Joy Reid is one example that I'll use. And then, as a result of the cancellation of her show, The Readout, you heard Megan Kelly, who's out there on, I guess, Fox News, and really dissing Joy Reid, which caused Don Lemon to step in and, offer us very strong retort. You're starting to see uh, broadcasters and voices across the spectrum beginning to say, hey, you know what? No matter what side of the aisle you support, we all have to work together to fight against what is happening out here. There's mass confusion, uncertainty out there. And oh my God, we don't want to even get into, the phenomenon that is Elon Musk and Department of Efficiency. Today. All right, there you are. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, everything is well, but you're freezing it, and I don't know if it's me or you.
Yes, we're having some difficulties, but we're back on now. So how's everything going, man? Tony? You doing okay?
Yeah, everything is well. Just as you said earlier and listening, I'm just watching the political atmosphere right now myself.
Okay. Tony, tell us a little bit about your background.
All right, so look, I'm a healthcare provider, a healthcare professional. I've worked in the medical field now for over 30 years, and I've worked in all sorts of aspects of the healthcare system. I worked in ICU, CNICU, DOU. I know those acronyms may be kind of off for a lot of people, but I've worked in that type of field. I'm also a first responder. I teach first responders, health and education, first aid, CPR, stop the bleed. I'm very involved with that. So that's a brief background, and of course, I'm a Freemason. Also, I enjoy the privilege of being part of that organization, and also I'm the owner of UCSA Life, and it stands for You Can Save a Life, because we believe the life you save may be the one you love. So we are definitely involved in the community in different aspects and teaching first aid, CPR, and first responder.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. And I guess your background healthcare system, because clearly, in my opinion, the healthcare system is broken. People are dying. The standard of care that we get um, from our healthcare system is clearly lacking unless you have a lot of money. Why is that, and what do you see out there, Tony?
All right, I would say this. Um, Strictly dealing with the African American aspect within the healthcare field, I would say you're not going to receive the help that you think you're going to receive unless it's really coming from a doctor that look like you. And that's the honest truth. I've been in rooms where the doctor's been speaking to the family, and they're African Americans or Black, and they're looking at me to give them the nod to say, yeah, he's a good doctor, or or no. I've actually been in that situation. So it's kind of strange. I mean, most African Americans do not trust the doctors because they understand the history about what's been taking place within the healthcare field when it comes to that aspect and how we've been treated. So it's very difficult, especially on the West Coast, to find a good African American doctor. And when you do, you hate to see them go. It's just what it is, and it's just how the system has always been set up.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Now, what are kind of some of the remedies that you may see for the, like how do we get universal health care, or are you in favor of that, or what, from an insider, tell us, how do we gain access to African American doctors? How do we gain access to the proper treatment that we need for the ailments that are afflicting our community?
First of all, you're gonna have to be an advocate for yourself, or your family gonna have to be an advocate for you if you are a senior and really can't fight for yourself. That your family is gonna have to be the one to be the advocate. If not, then you're not going to get the care you need. And I would say this: most of your African American doctors are either found they're definitely found on the East Coast. But when you come out west, it's a whole nother world on the west. And so you may not be able to find that particular doctor that you're looking for to really take care of your needs, be it male or female. And I found that within my own family, when my wife or my daughter's looking for a specific doctor to cater to their needs, and it's hard. And when they find one, they don't last very long. I'm out of here, sort of thing. And that's the sad part when you look at the healthcare system. And I would say this: anything that's going to benefit African Americans, it's a no-go. I'm gonna say that again. Anything that benefits African Americans is a no-go in this country, because they think, or they may feel, that we're getting something free, or we're getting something over them. So at the detriment of their own demise, they would vote no. They will look at it and say, I don't want it. Just as it is right now, when people are finding out, Affordable Care Act was a great thing. But now that you don't have the benefits for, I thought I wanted to get rid of Obamacare. Obamacare was the American Care Act. Oh, it was. I need that. No, you can't have that now because the funding has been cut. No, you can't have it, and people are really pissed now because they thought that was a thing that was only benefiting African Americans, or what they would consider poor people, not understanding that the American Care Act was a benefit for anybody who needed medical insurance. And now people are in an uproar. Well, I don't have. No, you don't have it because you said you didn't want Obamacare. They named it that. The original name was Affordable Care Act, and people are pissed. But that's
Mhm,
to their own demise.
mhm. Now, we just definitely see that there are, treatments available for a lot of our ailments that are afflicting our community. But it looks like the healthcare system really only advances not towards healing, but just for maintenance. It's all about prescription, 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 prescription. Even in the Black neighborhood now, you see so many dialysis, it's like on every corner almost, dialysis places, locations, and venues. And, in the area of cancer research, with cancer being really affecting our community at disproportionate rates, you don't see a regimen towards trying to heal on a very molecular level. You just have, they're going to shoot you up with the poison and all of that. And then we also know that there are treatments that work, that are scientifically sound, but they're not allowed to be in the United States. Folks have to travel to, I don't know, Mexico, Germany, all these different places. What is the deal with why there are certain treatments that are not allowed in the United States when it is proven that they do help treat a certain disease?
Well, we got to understand this system that we're in, and then trust me, it is a system. It is not built to cure you. It is built to keep you sick. And you could say whatever you want to say. Just look around for a moment. When you go into the hospital and you tell the doctor your ailment, take this. And by the way, you're going to need this to compensate for this. And before you know it, you got 11 prescriptions because this medicine does this. And no, you are the maintenance and caretaker for your own health. And if you don't take care of yourself, nobody is going to do that for
Mhm.
you. You're a money machine. When they see you coming to the hospital, they want to know, hey, how can I keep them in? They're not really trying to get you out. You know, we've heard of the HMOs and all of that. It's the healthcare organizations. It's supposed to be like a maintenance system. They don't want you necessarily in the hospital, but if you ever go in, we ain't trying to let you get out real quick, especially if
Mhm.
you got health insurance. So we have to start really taking control of our own health in doing so. There's I can't think of the brother name right now. He's part of the nation. He just developed his own supplement. um I cannot think of his name. It'll come back to me in a minute. Maybe even after we're done, it'll come back to me. He's just developed his own supplements, and I'm ordering mine, and in the mere fact that he's done that to show you, hey, we can take care of our own self. We have doctors, look, man, we have doctors, lawyers, accountants. We have everything we need to really do our own thing if we chose to. You can spend your money wherever you want to. If you chose to spend it with someone black, you know you are assisting and aiding them. But I mean, that's an individual thing, and we can go on and on about that. But as far as that healthcare system is concerned, you're going to have to take control of your own health, and that's a fact.
Mhm. Yeah. So, what are the alternatives? I mean, we're stuck here in the matrix. We're in Babylon. what
Well,
what is the alternative? Because I think nutrition is really the foundation of it all, right? And so, even our foods are processed and poisoned and everything like that. So, what should we begin to reconcile within our culture in order to have better health management?
first of all, I would say locate black farmers. There are a lot of black farmers out there, and they need your assistance. So right now, the way things are set, you can order things now. You can go on whatever app and you can order it. There was a farmer back east who was sending eggs to the west, and he is sold out, and he only had enough eggs for his family because he had hundreds of chickens. But with this egg price going up, people started hitting him up, and he started shipping out the eggs. And before you know it, within a week, he was out of eggs. So we got to start locating those farmers who we know that care about their crop, who cares about their food supply, who cares about their animals, and begin to order from them. We can go directly to them. We don't have to go to the supermarket to just get our food. These farmers have their own, like for a better word, slaughterhouses, and they know exactly what's going on with their food. So we
Hmm.
got to locate them and get involved with them and start to order our own food from those independent farmers. And they're there. It's some work. It takes a little work to do, but it can be done.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the
Yeah, we're going to
beginning of
have
good health.
Dr. Bill Relaford come on to. He's up there in Acton, California, and he has the Bloom Ranch, and you can get vegetables and everything from him. Certainly by ordering. We'll be talking about that really, really, really soon. But you're right. Locating the black farmers and being able to get their food products from them, this also just kind of amplifies the need to begin to obtain land, I guess, so that we can, expand the farming system and all that. Is all of that really feasible when we see so many black folks just complacent about their health?
It is, but you can't save everybody. That's the old adage. If you want good health, you have to take. I'm gonna say it again. If you want good health, you have to take control of your health. When you go to the doctor, he says, well, you got to do your research. They're not going to give you all the skinny on what's taking place. You got to do that for yourself. And I've been in places and watched doctors Google their own. Well, let me see what this. They Google up and they come to you like, hey, this is the medicine. This is the medicine. Da 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 da. No, we have at our fingertips the opportunity to find, to locate, to see what medicine does, to see how it does your body. We have that capability. There's no excuse for a person, unless they are in their 80s per se or 70s, to not take an advantage of what's before us and taking control of our own health. I can say that until I'm blue in the face, but that's going to be your survival kit, is to take care of you, because there's no one coming to save you. Nobody's coming to keep you healthy but you. Absolutely. And they're waiting till you pass away so they can get your organs. Yeah, I said that too. So it's something that we really got to take control of. And we can't wait on nobody to do that for us that we won't do for ourselves. And we have to be able to locate individuals who can do that. There are if you go online and put in blackdoctors.com, nothing but black doctors. You put in your symptoms, your ailment, and somebody get back to you. You have to subscribe to the page, of course, but somebody will get back to you and say, okay, this is probably what's going on. We have this information. We have to go out and contact our black doctors, our black farmers, whatever you need. We have it. And it makes no sense that we don't circulate that information amongst ourselves, because other folks do it.
Blackdoctors.com. We're going to put that in the chat, y'all, and also on our website, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com, and also across all of our various platforms where you will get this podcast, also to the audio version, as you know, will be transmitted wherever you get your favorite podcasts. I'm talking iHeart, Spreaker, Apple, Google, Spotify, you just name it. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is there, and we'll make sure that the information is codified within the narrative of all of those podcasts. Blackdoctors.com. That's good advice. Let me just ask you, Tony, what about like in your experience, what comes to mind as like the most, impactful case that you have been a part of, where you saw exactly how the healthcare system was shortchanging our people?
I was taking care of a patient, right? And they had the patient in restraints. It was a young kid. I think he had been shot, and nobody likes being restrained, right? And he's supposed to have a 24-hour sitter watching him. And I don't know if this sitter fell asleep or not. We was in ICU. The patient ended up pulling out his trach. He pulled it out, snatched it out. And because they had such a difficult time putting it back in, it caused him to have some serious side effects from a lack of oxygen to the brain. With that being said, the family did sue. But in the process, you had to separate as a healthcare professional. And I knew the family because the patient had been there for almost a month. So you get to really kind of know people within that significant time. So when that happened, you have to sort of pull back, which makes it seem as if you doesn't want anything else to do with that family. So what I did for myself is to develop that relationship outside of the healthcare system and begin to educate that family and talk to them regarding the situation at hand. So just to help them along the way, because once that happened, they really had no assistance other than, hey, we got to sue, because we told you that, hey, he needs to be restrained. However, he got loose. You had a sitter in there, and he was able to get to the trach tube and pull it out, which caused him to have these issues because of a lack of oxygen to the brain. So they did that, and I was glad that I was able to remove myself from the system itself and be a friend to them on the outside, because I couldn't do it working in the I couldn't have that one-to-one conversation with them in the hospital. And that's what we find ourselves at a lot of time, is those who are healthcare providers and professionals. You can't do that because you are working for the institution. You are working for the system. So you're going to have to reach them outside of the system, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation to where you can lose your job. And hell, I actually I actually did that. I actually went in to assist a patient who had been in pissed. I mean, just she was about 400 pounds. Patient just laying in waste. And I go into the room and I say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm okay." I said, "Are you getting out of bed today?" She can move around a little bit. She's like, "No, I need to be changed up." I said, "Change?" And I'm like looking at her, I'm like, "Well, how long you been in bed?" Like this. "Oh, I put on my nurse's light and nobody's come. It's been a couple of hours." I'm like, "What?" So here I am. I go and do it I'm on another floor. Mind you, this is not my patient. And that's the funny part. So I go in and I assist this patient, get them all cleaned up. Boom, 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 boom. Her nurse comes in. "Well, who are you?" "Well, I'm Tony. I work on such and such floor. I came down to see this patient because they was on my floor at first." "Well, this is my patient." "I know it, but she's been in waste for 2 hours and you hadn't come." I get written up and I get suspended.
Wow.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But I was like amazed. So we who are healthcare providers, yeah, we have to be careful that we don't overcross or overstep that particular boundaries, but we are sworn to take care of those who are in our care, you know? And so that was one of the cases that I've dealt with, that I felt, well, what if I'd allowed that patient just to sit there? Because once you do that, urinary tract infection happens, skin breaks down happens, a whole lot goes on within a short period of time.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow. That's an incredible, incredible story, man. Well, I've heard this has been a great conversation this morning. I wanted to say, I want to just review. I've heard a few things. So if we were to walk away with anything from this particular broadcast, I heard you say you got to advocate for your health. And what are some of the parting shots you'd like people to walk away if they listen to this podcast? What are the lessons they should get from what we've shared today?
The lesson you should actually get is that if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will. If you don't advocate for your family, nobody else will. And until you begin to take control of your own health, you're going to always be where you're at. You wasn't born with high blood pressure. You wasn't born with diabetes. There's a lot of things you wasn't born with, but because of the way we eat, because of our consumption of food that is unhealthy to us and for us, we find ourselves in these positions. Now, the process is how do you reverse that? And you can't actually reverse having high blood pressure. That's proof. You can't get off the diabetic medication. That's proof. But that's something you got to want to do. And I know how doctors are. I've been with them. "Well, you know, you're going to really need this. This is going to help you lower your blood pressure." Yeah, but what I've learned, and I did this for myself, my blood pressure was all over the place. So I started eating a grapefruit. Now, if you're on blood pressure medication, don't do it because it interferes with a lot of chemical imbalances and stuff like that is taking place. However, before you get on the medication, eat yourself at least 2 grapefruits a day. Do that for a month. Check your blood pressure every week, and I guarantee you're going to see a difference. You will see a difference. So you have to start taking control. Garlic is another thing you can do for your blood pressure. You know, I'm not saying eat the clove. If you eat the clove itself whole, it's not going to be good for you. So you really got to cut it up and then digest it. However, there are things we can do in regards to our health to take back that ownership. That's what I want you to walk away with today.
All right, take ownership of your health, Tony. How do we get a hold of you? How do the listeners get to you?
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook at UCSA Life. You can find me on Facebook there. You can also find me on Facebook again under Tony Muhammd. And there's going to be 2. One is part of the Nation of Islam. Big shout out to my brother. As I was talking with you earlier, we was together last week before he went to Savior's Day, and to all of the brothers in the NOI and sisters of the nation. Happy Savior's Day. I know they ended this weekend in Chicago. So that's what I like to say and leave you with. And man, congratulations to you and the success of your show. And thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And that's how, oh, and if you want to call me, you can do that too. That number is going to be 858-707-5582. All right. You can reach me there. UCSA Life, where the life you save may be the one you love. You can save a life.
That's right. You can save a life. Thank you so much, my brother Tony. And, we'll be speaking with you soon again, to keep our finger on the pulse of the healthcare system.
I appreciate that. And look, stay politically actively involved.
Yeah. And look, before we go, what's your thoughts with having RFK Jr. up in there in the healthcare system? Is that good?
Oh man, that's the flip of a coin.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's some things he said I can agree with, but there's some things I'm like, I don't know, bruh. I don't know. We're gonna have to just watch this whole thing play out, and I know we have to go. I want to add to this is that Black folks have always dealt with unnecessary issues per se. We've always been behind the black ball per se. So this is not nothing new to us. It's just the nuances that are being played out. Watching billionaires fight. This political thing is a billionaire situation fight. We're not even at the table on this. So I'm just saying, watching this thing play out in him, and they just fired the chief of staff, and oh, they don't want Black folks to be in the army and the military. That's a whole nother subject, because once you get that training, military training, you can come back and train somebody else, and not to have you in it. I don't know.
That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. We've got
something.
too much history in the armed forces around here, so that's what's up there.
Too much. Yeah,
Thank you, Tony Muhammd. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Yes. And you can get Coffee Conversations with Greg J on our Facebook pages, Coffee Conversations with Greg J on my personal Facebook page. Go to Hannibal Media Group. You can go to Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. Also go to that website, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. You can see Coffee Conversations with Greg J on there, as well as our news platform, which is called Beach City Perspective. Some cool music on there, lots of interviews and news and tidbits about culture. We're centered in arts and culture, but we do just touch on political topics from every now and again, because it does affect our lifestyle, our culture. But we are all about advocating and promoting the arts, and that's what we're all about here. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Yeah, just breathe, y'all. There's a lot before us. Above all, love one another. And we'll see you soon. Keep striving, keep advocating, keep loving. Peace and blessings.